This video, I'm going to give a full disclaimer. I am not a full-time artist, as like I'm making money from it, but this is still things. So I just wanted to say that I'm not going to give you like tips about in the sense like I am a full-time artist and no, this is more of a list of things to consider and things I wish I would have done sooner or wish I knew sooner. Just some advice that might help you if you're someone who's considering wanting to do a creative career, especially if you want to do it online. Number one, you should at least have an idea of what you want to do, like how you want to make money. For example, me, I want to make YouTube videos. I eventually want to monetize YouTube. I have a Patreon, so I want to do a mail club. I want to do extra stuff for people who want to see extra stuff for me. I want to do commissions. I want to sell prints and stuff. I want to sell my originals. I want to probably end up eventually doing like maybe digital products. I haven't really thought through exactly what the digital products would be, but digital products are easy. I want to do actual things like stickers, obviously prints, eventually maybe like bookmarks, tote bags, things like that. I've already planned out which platforms to be on. You don't need to be on every platform. You don't. Whoever told you that, you don't need to be on every platform. It depends on what kind of art you're doing, okay? First of all, YouTube, I always think YouTube is a good option, especially if you like long form, especially if you like talking, especially if you like doing stuff that shows your process, your everyday life, whatever it is. If you want to teach people stuff, if you want to give advice, whatever. Instagram, pretty simple, most artists. TikTok, this one is kind of, I generally don't love TikTok just because of the way that the platform is set up. It just doesn't feel it would suit most artists. That's kind of you just gotta kind of experiment. And like X is better probably for people who do literary, same people who do like digital art and stuff on X, but most of it that's popular is like fan art. So if you do fan art, that definitely seems to do pretty decent on X. Patreon, personally, I think Patreon's great. A lot of artists that I follow do Patreon, especially if you want to do a nail club and if you have ideas and extra stuff you'd want to share, but you want to do like a little subscription for it, that's perfect. Definitely having some ideas of where you want your money to come from eventually is a good start. You probably would want to have more than one idea because one stream of income just isn't going to replace your job. It's not going to replace your job. You're going to want to have more than one stream of income. Maybe you want to work with brands. I know an artist, she does stuff, I forgot what it's called. There's a word for this type of service, but she'll make illustrations or art for these brands, and they usually have some sort of contract. Either they pay you up front, they pay you depending on what it is for each, whatever it is. If you want to do brand sponsorships, personally me, I don't know if I want to do brands just because I would want to work with brands that I actually use and I actually like and I actually stand by. I'm not going to just take brand deals for the money. So it doesn't seem like a very good, stable source of income. Another thing, I would start off, wouldn't worry about all the logistics, all the details, because you just need to start. One thing I wish I would have done sooner was start. I wish I would have started my YouTube channel earlier. I wish that I was posting on social media earlier, because you don't really learn and you don't really figure out yourself and how you want to be portrayed on the internet until you do it. And especially if you're not someone who is used to talking to a camera or you're not comfortable with it, the only way that you're going to get better is by doing it. And you just need to be, consistency is generally the one thing that you can control and the one thing that is definitely going to help you get seen the way that you want to be seen. For social media specifically, okay, I'm going to tell you something. I was really, really, really against the whole idea of like being a content creator, knowing content strategy, knowing all this stuff, and I was just raw dogging it. And honestly, you do kind of get results from being consistent and doing all this, but it's not gonna be, I did make a video about things, I did a little challenge where I did 1 month and I posted 3 short form content across all my platforms for 30 days straight and to see how that ended up working out. And I did see results. They weren't significant necessarily, which isn't always bad because part of social media is there is a little bit of a luck factor there. Not everyone grows in the same span of time and all of that, but knowing content strategy definitely is going to help you grow faster. Okay, I finally decided that I was going to give it a try. I'm going to learn about content strategy. I'm going to learn about this. I didn't think that content strategy would help me as an artist because I'm not someone who wants to be, an influencer. I'm not trying to be a content creator. I'm not trying to be like a coach. I'm not trying to be these things. I'm trying to be an artist. I want to be seen and all this. But the things that I've learned over the past few days significantly has changed my perspective on posting on social media. The way that I went about it completely changed. It will never be the same, and it's a good thing. Okay, so I would invest in not money. Okay, you don't need to buy anything to learn content strategy. You do not need to buy anything. You don't need to buy a course. You don't need to do that bullshit. You just need to find someone who teaches it, or in my case, I was lucky enough. I came across this guy, if you know who he is, and he was doing a free masterclass. I was like, sure, I'll join it. His free masterclass is, I think it's good. The first 2 days, I learned so much. I wrote so many freaking notes, and I have used what I learned, and I've already planned how I'm going to change the way that I've been posting. You don't have to buy anything. He does have like thing that he promotes that you can buy, but you don't need to buy nothing. Just the free stuff that he gives out, that he talks about, that he teaches, changed me. It's changed me. Not saying you have to do the same thing I did, but content strategy in general, at least having somewhat of a basic understanding of it, is going to help you have better content. Make people want to actually watch your content. Want people to know who you are and follow you, whatever. And you can do this as a creative. You don't gotta sell your soul. You can still do what you're trying to do as a creative and know content strategy and grow faster and build a community of people who care about you and your art or whatever you're making. Wish I would have done that sooner, because I've literally been posting for 2 years and I haven't really seen much growth. And if I would have just taken a little bit of time out of my day to kind of understand how this would work and how I can be better at making videos that actually people want to stay and watch. And actually, one thing I was really bad at was talking about myself. Okay, I'm not 100% comfortable, especially in short form, talking about myself, introducing myself. Well, people want to know who you are, especially if you are a creative. People care about what you're making, but they don't care just about what you're making, because like, oh, this is cool art, but you made the art. Metaphorically, you made the art. The artist makes the art. This is why I believe AI could not replace artists because it is so soulless. Real art made by real people has a soul, and those people who are seeing you, who are following you, want to see that soul. They want to know who you are. They want to see your process. You need to share these things. I would also say you don't need like a rigid schedule. I know people are like, well, consistency, yes, but you don't need to be rigid about it. If you're making art, you don't need to force yourself to make more art so you feel like you have more to post. Don't do that. You don't want to get burnt out. You can utilize what other things, talking about yourself, talking about things you care about, showing your process, showing your finished work, talking about your struggles. People love being related, having relations with you. If you're like, hey, I struggle with this, people will probably be like, hey, I do too, I relate to this. You make people feel seen. People love that. And you can definitely do that as an artist, especially if you're creating something that has a lot of meaning. If you talk about what you're creating and why you're creating it, what it means to you, like, I created this because of this experience I had or something, people love that. They want to see that. If you want to make art full-time, I know this sounds obvious, but you need to stop treating your craft like it's a hobby. And what I mean by that is you actually need to spend time doing it. I'm not saying you gotta spend all your day doing it, but you should be spending at least a couple days a week, a couple hours through that week doing your craft. Because if you think about it, if you didn't have a job, you had all your free time, you would be doing that because that would be your job. Oh, I make art for a living, so I should be making art. This is something that I didn't really think about because with having a job and doing all this other stuff, and I wasn't spending a lot of time doing art, and I was like, you know what? I can't say that I'm going to be an artist full time if I'm not actually spending time doing art. I need to start setting these habits now, so when do I get to the point where I can work less at a regular job and work more towards my creative projects, that I actually use my time wisely. People do not understand, like, when you are self-employed, no one is going to tell you what to do and when to do it. You got to do it yourself. So if you don't set those boundaries, you don't set up those habits, you don't create that discipline in yourself, you can't expect to be disciplined like that just because you're full-time now. You do art for a living and you don't have to work a job. You have to start doing those habits now. And by doing that, it builds confidence in yourself. You have things to post, and you kind of embody being that person who is a creative full-time. I have a really hard time with imposter syndrome. Since I don't do it full-time, I'm like, oh, that feels weird that I'm like, oh, I'm an artist, like, I do this, like, I haven't even made money from it. That's not the point. You should be saying that you are an artist. You are creative. You do it. You might not do it full time. You might not be making money off of it. That doesn't matter. You're working towards it. You're working towards it, and that's the point. Again, with the imposter syndrome, I had a hard time feeling like I could put my opinion out there or I could give advice. So I'm like, oh, well, I don't feel like I'm qualified for this, even though I know what I'm talking about, and maybe what I have to say would actually help someone. You should say it anyways. Whether or not you feel qualified, say what you think you should be saying. Like right now, this video, like, I'm not making money from being an artist, but I know that all these things are things I wish I would have known when I started actually trying to do this seriously. Say it. You might help some person. You might help one person. You might help more than one person. You don't know. Your voice matters. What you have to say matters, whether or not you feel qualified or not. Okay? Unless you're trying to give like actual medical advice, you're not, a doctor, that's different. Another thing, okay, when I started, I was so chronic, I need to know everything. I need to know how taxes work. I need to know how to do commissions. I need to know how to price them. I need to know what I'm gonna sell. I need to do all this, I need to have all the things, I need to have a printer, I need to have a way to make prints, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. You can start without knowing any of that. First of all, you probably won't be making money right away. Okay, the first thing you need to focus on is making more art and posting it. You need to be posting. You need to be putting yourself out there so people can find you, so they can see your art. People who connect with your art, they can see you and they can follow you. That's what you need to focus on. You do not need to focus on anything else. You do not need to worry about taxes. When you start making money, you probably won't even be making enough money where you even need to reduct any of it off your taxes. If you do, when you get there, you'll get there. Like, it's not something you need to worry about right now if you haven't even been posting. That's something I would do all the time, and I was worried that I had to know all this stuff before I could even start. You do not. And even if you do know, it's not going to matter because you're still not going to feel ready all the way. You're not. You just need to start doing it. The only way that you're actually going to see results and the only way that you're going to get better is by doing it. The only way you're going to get better at posting is by doing it. The only way you're going to get better at your art, you think your art's not good enough to be sold, you don't think that your craft, like, you don't think it's good enough, well, by practicing and by making more art, it's going to get better. And genuinely, there is something for everyone. There is something for everyone. Somebody is going to like your art. Somebody is going to want to see it. So just give it to the hands of the people and let it do its job. On that note, if you don't feel like you can sell your art, let's say that you're posting, right? You're posting, you don't have anything to sell necessarily. Like for me, I haven't sold anything. I have not made any money off of my art. I have not made any money off it. I've made a Patreon. My following is not that big. I still made a Patreon. Because 2 reasons. First of all, I thought that I had to wait until my audience was big enough to do a Patreon because there's going to be like no one that's going to use it. 2, doing it now before you get your audience gives them somewhere to go when your audience grows. Think about it this way. You can either wait to make your website or whatever. I know that some things you'll have to put money into it. Like if you make prints and stuff, you will put money into that. And if no one buys it, then you don't get any money. But if you have these things ready, like Patreon, costs nothing for me to make. Literally costs me nothing. I'm losing no money. But it's there. So when I finally have people, if people are like, you know what, I really like this girl. I really like what she has to say. I really like her art. She's got a Patreon. I'm going to go subscribe to it. If I didn't make a Patreon because my following wasn't that big and I waited and then I suddenly have all these followers, but I didn't have anything or anywhere else for them to go. I'm like, oh, hey, now I have a Patreon. The best way to capitalize on getting followers is by already having these things in place, so when they come to your page, when they're first seeing you, when they're first getting curious, they'll see like, oh, she has all these other platforms. I'm gonna follow her on these other platforms. Oh, she's got this. I'm gonna go on that too. Oh, you sell art? I'm gonna go on that. Oh, you do commissions? You have to start somewhere. You might as well just have it there, even if it's not doing anything, so when the people that want it come, it's already there for them. And it feels a lot more like an accomplishment if you do tangible things that will take you to your goal. If you want to make a website, draft a website. You don't even have to post the website. It doesn't even have to be live. Just draft it. You kind of have an idea of what you're going to do. Do some research, kind of work on it. It doesn't need to be live. Same with Patreon. If you want to do commissions, do some research on what kind of commissions you want to do, what kind of price you want to do. Doing something is better than doing nothing. That's what I had to say. I don't think I have any other points, but I just really, really want people who are considering this and have been feeling scared to start, to just start somewhere, because it will be worth it. You are going to see results if you just do what you want to do.